Today we're crocheting the virus shawl. No, not that virus, this one. The virus motif is one of those phenomena in crochet kind of like the granny square. It's more of a concept than a pattern, and once you have it down, you can apply it to many different types of projects. I was intimidated by this stitch when I first saw it, but once I got the hang of it, I found it so enjoyable. And I want to help you break it down row by row, so that once you get going, you can watch your satisfying project grow and grow and grow. Also, I had this beautiful yarn cake from Lion Brand called Shawl in a Cake, and I wanted to see exactly how much shawl I could get out of just one cake. Well, here's your answer. A very sizable 60-inch wide by 23 inches deep shawl. I also used the 6mm hook that my yarn calls for, and we're going to go ahead and dive right in by chaining 10. And slip stitching into our first chain to join in the round. Chain up 3, which will count as a double crochet, and then yarn over and insert your hook into the chain 10 ring. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to work a double crochet into that ring, and continue making a total of 19 double crochets into the ring. And counting your chain 3 from the beginning, you will have a grand total of 20 double crochets into that ring. Row 2. Chain 3 and turn, which again counts as a double crochet, and then make 1 double crochet into every stitch from the previous row. Including into the top of the starting chain 3 from row 1. For a total of 20 double crochets in row 2 as well. Row 3. Chain 4, which counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. Then make a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1 and double crochet into the next stitch. Continue chain 1 double crochet in every stitch available. No skipping stitches since we are increasing this round. And end with a chain 1 double crochet into the turning chain 3 from the previous row. And there's your first virus shell. Row 4 will chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, but then chain an additional 7 for a total of 10 chains. And skip the first chain space and make a single crochet into the second chain 1 space. Chain 4, and skip a chain 1 space. Make 1 single crochet into the next space. Repeat 2 more times. Chain 4, skip a space, single crochet into the next space. Chain 4, skip a space, and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Now you'll have 3 chain 4 spaces, and it's time to chain 7, skip a space, 1 single crochet into the next space. Again, chain 7, and skip a space, 1 single crochet into the next space. And these are the little chain 7 bunny ears that you'll see at the center point of your shawl every time we do one of these chain scaffold rows from now on. To work back down the other side, chain 4 and skip a space, single crochet into the next space. Repeat 2 more times to again work your 3 chain 4 spaces. And you'll have 1 chain space left where you'll chain 7. Hold that last chain so you can make a double crochet into the 3rd chain from that starting chain 4 of the previous row. This completes our first scaffold row. So now we have 4 new chain 7 spaces to start working our next set of shells into. For row 5, you'll chain 3 and make 9 more double crochets into your first chain 7 loop. Counting your starting chain 3, that's a total of 10 double crochets. When you come to this first chain 4 space, just make a single crochet right into the space. And to get over to the next chain 4 space, chain 4. And make a single crochet into the next chain space. Again, chain 4 to get over to your next chain space. And make 1 single crochet into the chain space. So your 3 chain spaces have now become 2 chain spaces. Now we've come to a chain 7 space, and we'll work a double crochet right into that chain 7 space. And continue making double crochets into the chain 7 space for a total of 10 double crochets. Now here is a good time to highlight one of the trickiest things about this pattern, counting your stitches. Where is your first double crochet of this shell? Right here. This little guy wants to look like a double crochet, but it's actually the single crochet that you worked into the last chain 4 space. So be mindful of that single crochet, just know that it's there and don't count him as one of your 10 double crochets. Now let's continue. 10 double crochets right into the next chain 7 space as well. No chains or spaces between the 2 bunny ears, so you can think of it as a total of 20 double crochets around that center point, 10 double crochets into each loop. Single crochet right into that first chain 4 space, chain 4 to get over to your next space, single crochet into the chain 4 space, chain 4 and single crochet into the last chain 4 space. And you guessed it, you're going to make 10 double crochets into the very last loop. And you can see why they call it the virus shawl. This one grows so fast. We've already got our next 4 shells going. On row 6, I'd like you to recall row 2, where we worked 1 double crochet into each previous double crochet. This row is going to be very similar. Chain 3 and make 1 double crochet in each stitch available. Make sure to be mindful of that single crochet from the previous row and don't work a stitch into him. Rather, go right into that chain 4 space with a single crochet. Chain 4 to get over to your next chain space, and make a single crochet into it. Now we're back at the next shell, and you just gotta watch out for that single crochet, and make 1 double crochet into each double crochet from the previous row. For a total of 20 double crochets all around that center point. Single crochet into the next chain 4 space, chain 4 to get over to the next chain 4 space, single crochet into it, mind your single crochet and work 1 double crochet right into the next double crochet, to continue making 1 double crochet in each stitch, including the top of that turning chain 3. Row 7 is an increase row, so we'll chain 4 to count as a double crochet chain 1, and you'll work a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet for each of the 10 stitches available. Mind that little single crochet and work a single crochet right into the chain 4 space. Now we're all out of chain 4 spaces, so you just gotta find the next double crochet and work a double crochet into him. Chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, double crochet into every stitch available, all around the center point. Single crochet into that chain 4 space, and work a double crochet right into the next double crochet. To continue, chain 1, double crochet into every available stitch, and end with a double crochet into that turning chain. So up to this point, we've only worked the setup rows, which is part of why these virus shawl tutorials are all so long. Your 4-row repeat will actually begin now. But you already know almost everything you need to know to continue on. All that's left to cover is how we add the chain 7 loops that bridge these spots for you to work your next shells into. So we'll begin row 8, a scaffold row, by chaining 3 and 7 to count as a double crochet plus 7. And single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Chain 4, skip 1 space, single crochet into the next space, and repeat that 2 more times for a total of 3 chain 4 spaces. Now you've worked up to this little divot here between shells, and we want to bridge that divot with a chain 7. So, chain 7, and where will we anchor this chain 7 down to? Well, see here, it's coming out of the second chain space before the divot. So there's a chain 1 space between our chain 7 and the center single crochet. And we want to mirror that on the other side of the single crochet. So we'll skip the first chain 1 space after the center single crochet and make a single crochet right into that second chain 1 space. And that completes one of our chain 7 scaffold spaces. It's time to work another set of 3 chain 4 spaces. So chain 4, skip a space, and single crochet into the next space. Do that 2 more times, and at that point we've reached the center of our shawl, so it's time to do some bunny ears. Chain 7, skip 1, 1 single crochet, chain 7, skip 1, 1 single crochet, for those familiar center point bunny ears. 3 sets of chain 4 spaces to get over to the next divot between shells. And we've come to a familiar site now, where you'll chain 7, skip a chain space, skip the center single crochet, skip a chain space, and work 1 single crochet into the second chain space from the center single crochet. Make a set of 3 chain 4 spaces to get over to the last chain space, and chain 7, and make 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain of that turning chain 4. And that completes row 8, your scaffold row for the rest of the pattern. Row 9 follows, which is the first double crochet row. So you'll chain 3 and make 10 double crochets into that first loop. Single crochet into the chain space, chain 4 to get over to your next chain space, single crochet into the chain space, chain 4 to get over to the next chain space, and single crochet, and go right into that next chain 7 space with 10 double crochets. And from now on, you know just what to do across each chain 4 space and into each chain 7 space. After your first row 9, it'll look like this. The next 2 rows are easy. For row 10, you'll work 1 double crochet in each double crochet from the previous row, and decrease these chain 4 spaces in between shells from 2 to 1. The next row will be a repeat of row 7, your increase row, making those double crochets with chain 1 spaces between all the way around and single crocheting into the few remaining chain 4 spaces. You can repeat rows 7 through 10 over and over and over until your shawl is as big as you'd like, or you run out of yarn. The project lays flat best after completing a row 7, the increase row. Using my yarn cake, I ran out of yarn on a row 9 row, so I did frog back those extra rows back to my last row 7, and I had a little yarn left over. Lastly, I wanted to give credit where credit is due, and I did not come up with this motif. Now, I suspect it's sort of an old pattern. It's sometimes called German shells, or a variation is called the fluffy meringue, but I'll link a couple of the most popular and oldest appearances of this pattern on Ravelry, so you can check out some of the original designers and add your projects there if you'd like. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Let me know if you found it helpful, or if you have any questions. Make sure to check out the description box for more resources, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye!